Confused me tonight. I went to the white card.
The mayor was sitting up there.
All right. I'd like to call this January meeting in Manchester Township Board of Education order. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Staples. Here. Ms. Mount. Here. Mr. Jenner.
Here.
Mrs. Servanek.
Here.
Ms. Biscardi.
Here.
Ms. Winkler. Here. Ms. Pease. Mr. Page.
Here.
Adequate notice was published on Tuesday, January 12, 2021 in the Asbury Park Press. Maintenance and time was advised specifying the time and place of the meeting, and a statement of this shall, in effect, shall be entered in the minutes of this meeting. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Manchester Township Board of Education as follows. The public shall be excluded from the discussion of hereinafter specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matters to be discussed is legal, personnel, and negotiations. It's anticipated these matters will be made public within 60 days. This resolution shall become effective immediately. May I have a motion, please? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back in about a half hour.
Is anybody there can hear me? Hello? Anybody there, Chris?
I can hear you, Mr. Jenner.
Oh, okay, Mrs. Pedrosa. Yep.
Okay. Am I on, Mr. Alford?
Yeah, I hear it.
Huh?
I hear it.
I'm on? Okay. Good. All right, I'd like to reconvene the January meeting of Manchester Township Board of Education. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Staples?
Here.
Ms. Mount? Mr. Jenner? Come back to Mrs. Servanek?
Here.
Ms. Piscardi?
Here.
Ms. Wingler? Mr. Pate?
Here. Please stand for the flag salute.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's nice to see people here tonight. We don't get people out too often, so it's good to see them. I do not have a formal report tonight. We're just hanging in, persevering, doing the best we can. COVID is here. It doesn't seem to want to let go, so we're doing our best in a difficult situation going forward. I applaud the teachers for the efforts that they're making it work as best they can. I applaud the parents for all the efforts that they're doing, sometimes at last minute, not knowing that they're going to not be able to send their students to school, that they're doing the best that they can, and I certainly applaud the students for trying to learn and to progress in this environment. It's not easy. I think we all recognize that, and it's certainly not optimum. But we're all doing our best, we'll all go forward, and we'll continue to do our best. All right, Mr. Treadway, we have a presentation.
We do. First of all, it seems a little strange to be recognizing our 2019-2020 teachers and ed support professionals at the same time that we just selected our 2020 and 2021 Teachers of the Year. However, these past 11 months have been anything but normal. So it was disappointing that we couldn't recognize our outstanding staff and 1920 award winners back in May. We do feel it's so very important to formally recognize these staff members for what they do in the schools, what they do with our students, and the support that they give our students and our families throughout the district. So it's great pride that we complete our recognition of our outstanding staff by finishing the elementary schools tonight. So I'd like to start with the Ridgeway Elementary School. Mrs. Major, if we please stand up and recognize our Teacher of the Year.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Treadway, Mr. Pate, and members of our Board of Education, friends and colleagues. Tonight we have with us our Ridgeway 2020 Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Kathy Antonelli. Kathy is joined by her husband Nick and their sons Dylan and Kieran, as well as her sisters Linda Williams and Colleen Wallace. Welcome to the Antonelli family and everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Mrs. Antonelli, who has been a teacher for over 30 years. Among the several staff members who nominated her for this recognition, all said that Mrs. Antonelli puts her heart and soul into her job and makes a difference so that many special education students and their families feel valued and loved.
One staff member in particular said, "It's easy to give Kathy accolades because of her teaching, but what sets her apart from the rest is her golden heart." In a heartbeat and without expecting any of the limelight, Mrs. Antonelli will jump in and volunteer to help anyone in need. On a daily basis, I don't expect that Mrs. Antonelli at some point will ask me, "What can I do to help you? Is there anything I can do? Just tell me what you need." She is always willing to assist any member of our Ridgeway community. Mrs. Antonelli makes significant contributions to many building and district initiatives, such as Kevin's Kids, Coins for Kids, and organizing meal trains, but most notably, it is the little things that Kathy does for her families and students day in and out that are truly commendable, like delivering surprises for families, like meeting students on their lawns and arranging for resources for students in need, and then taking those resources directly to them so they have what they need. Over the years, Mrs. Antonelli has served as a mentor teacher for new staff who are learning about instruction in special education settings. This includes finding new ways to use strategies such as Daily 5 in a resource setting, readers workshops, writing workshops, guided math groups, all again in a resource setting. She uses the Wilson Reading Program daily, and she does so with great fidelity. And she makes sure that her students, no matter what level, they have great level exposure, and she builds background for them. As a seasoned professional, Mrs. Antonelli creates experiences that focus on learning and behavior goals, with each lesson being engaging, motivating, and differentiated to ensure student success. Despite the challenges presented this year, Mrs. Antonelli was one of the very first teachers in our building to use live instruction, and she has truly demonstrated that she is a lifelong learner and has absolutely embraced anything she can do to help our students. On behalf of our entire Ridgeway staff, Ms. Young and I would like to say congratulations to Mrs. Antonelli. You are an educator who wears many hats, and you have inspired many, many hearts. Congratulations to Mrs. Antonelli.
Good evening. I'd like to thank the Board of Education for giving me the opportunity to work in this wonderful district for the past 33 years. I am so honored to receive this award for the second time. I'd like to thank Robin Palmer for the beautiful nomination. One statement I have heard throughout the years is that it takes a village. Well, I can say I have the best, most amazing village. To Carrie, I've enjoyed working with you so far and very happy you joined the Ridgeway team. To Nikki, whose unwavering support, leadership, and kindness has meant the world to me. I'm so grateful to be working beside you. You make all of us at Ridgeway feel like we are part of your family. To my tribe, to my friends group, to the Golden Girls, to the Lunch Bunch, to Liz, to Mars, Debbie, I adore each of you and can't thank you enough for your friendship and continuous support. To my Ridgeway family, I work with the most dedicated, caring, phenomenal group of people. I am in awe of each of you every day. I want to let you know how grateful I am for the kindness, generosity, and thoughtfulness you have shown me through the years. You have lifted me up and continue to do so. I have been blessed to have taught many of my current students for the past 2 to 4 years. They are truly the best group of students. During this pandemic, they have proven how truly exceptional they are. Whether remotely or in person, my students make me laugh and smile every day. I have to acknowledge the phenomenal families of my students. I can't thank them enough for helping me navigate remote teaching. They are always positive and understanding, especially when I forgot to post a slide or I didn't give them shared access. I posted work for 8 p.m. instead of 8 a.m. They even Googled solutions when I had no clue. And that's even funnier because I have an instructional technology certificate. Thank you, families. You are the best. And lastly, to my husband, Nick, my boys, Dylan and Kieran, to my sisters, Linda and Colleen, who are here, my brother, my mother-in-law, my sisters-in-law, my brothers-in-law, and nieces and nephews, You are everything to me. Your assistance, love, and encouragement throughout my career and during some of my most difficult times has been truly a blessing. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you again for this honor. Please stay safe and well. Yes. Come this way. Okay. This way. This way. Okay. Thank you. We'll like setting that. Oh, more people? Yeah.
The whole team.
There we go. We're family. We're family. Ready? Okay. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the principal of Whiting School, Several Swift. Hello. Here you go.
Good evening, Mr. Chapter, members of our board, colleagues, friends, and community members. It is with great privilege and pride that I announce our Teacher of the Year, Ms. Lisa Gould. Ms. Gould began her career in education as a paraprofessional working with autistic students. Her passion for her work led her to attend Georgian-Fort University to pursue her degree and certification. My good fortune afforded me the opportunity to hire her as a teacher when I arrived at Whiting School as a new principal. Ms. Gould embraced her role as a classroom teacher with enthusiasm and commitment. While at Whiting, she has taught the Winning Wildcats, the Summer PSY for our autistic students, and served on the Irs Committee. In addition, she has written and received several grants for her classroom. She is compassionate, hardworking, and congenial. She is a reflective professional who always seeks to improve her professional practices to enhance her teaching. She is an advocate for her students and is consistently looking for the best ways to serve them and their needs. As a member of the Irs Committee, she is such a tremendous resource and uses her expertise in behavior management strategies and modifications for struggling learners to develop appropriate plans for them. She is a detail-oriented, meticulous member of our group who can be counted upon to complete all tasks at a high degree of excellence. She is a collaborative staff member and a resource for all of our special education and our regular education teachers. She is a voice for mainstreaming her autism students and ensuring that they all have any opportunity available to them in and outside of the walls of her classroom. Every year, she graciously volunteers to assist with fundraising activities like our fall Applebee's breakfast and our Barnes and Noble night, both of which are a tremendous success. She encourages her students and families to participate, and they do. She is a collegial team member, often working with and sharing ideas with the teachers to service the students with autism throughout the entire district. In addition, she coordinates our PAUSE program, which gives our students the opportunity to work with their development. Her commitment to them is further illustrated through her involvement in COLLACT, our Parents of Children with Autism organization. She and her students host fundraisers, and she organizes a team to attend the annual COLLACT walk at Blue Swan Stadium. The money that is raised is presented that day to the organization. But more significantly, she seeks to bring awareness to autism, how to overcome any and all challenges associated with the disorder. She truly has a passion for this profession that is clearly exhibited in her classroom. She has been involved in both school-wide initiatives, exploring best practices in data collection and behavior plans. She is always looking for ways to be creative and innovative in seeking challenges for her students and herself. path with an expectation of a positive outcome, and her hardworking attitude and caring way made her an exceptional teacher. She's here tonight with my former students, her daughters Kirsten and Laura, and it's with great pleasure and pride that I announce my Teacher of the Year for Whiting Elementary School, Miss Lisa Gould. So, thank you. I'm going to try not to cry too. That was so sweet. Thank you, Miss Brooks. Thank you so much for all the kind words, Miss Brooks. It really mean a lot to me. I thank you for your daily support. I visit you often. Try not to ask too much, but you are awesome. Send me anything and everything I need for myself and my students. I would also like to thank the administrators, the board of ed. Manchester has truly been my home and given me the opportunity to help guide, teach, and grow with my students. I want to take this time to thank my students and their families for sharing their lives and their children with me. It is an honor to be Teacher of the Year, and what a year it's been, really. Honestly, from our math to 6 feet apart and trying to get creative with going hand over hand and keeping our distance with our students, but still loving them and guiding them at the same time. I need to give a special thank you to my daughters, Kristen and Laura, for your love and support on our journey to me becoming a teacher at the very young age of 48. At times, it has not been easy, and I cannot promise that there will not be any more late-night technology questions because I guarantee you there probably will be. For those of you who grew up with me, when I was younger, when a phone was attached to the wall, and keyboarding meant getting out your typewriter, which is all been a huge for us. We've all made the best out of this, and we've grown stronger for it in one way or another. Through these challenges, we've all gotten creative, finding ways to help our students, and I truly mean ways. I thank all of our team members at Whiting School. We are known as the voice of the big heart, and truly, I reach out to so many of my team members. The support staff is amazing. I teach with my students, we work together as a team, and I really want to thank them also. My paraprofessionals, they get things through, not just a day, but moments. I just want to say they are rock stars. They help me. Challenging moments just become moments for us to embrace and get through together. And then there's just those moments where you get your giggles and our students make those strides that we all just embrace. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Ms. Donna, Ms. Brittany, and I have a new member, Mr. Chen. You're rock stars. I want to say thank you again. I'm truly honored and truly blessed. Thank you so much for your Okay, I did. Well, good evening again. So again, with great pleasure and pride, I would like to introduce our ESP of the Year, Miss Angela Gray. Mrs. Gray started at White School 7 years ago in the lunch aid. Her interactions with the students, her caring demeanor, and commitment to her duties helped her easily transfer into the role of a paraprofessional. These same qualities have made her successful in this capacity. She is dedicated to the total well-being of her students, whether it be assisting a student with a reading lesson, teaching them to tie their shoes, navigating a disagreement between them, or helping them get to the nurse. She is pleasant and funny, all while being serious about the duties of her position. She is respected by her peers, and they love her infectious laugh and love of people. Mrs. Gray is always ready to inspire, motivate, and ready to put a positive spin on the most challenging situation. She has the natural ability to observe a student, assess the need, and share viable strategies and solutions. She meets every task with an expectation of a positive outcome. She instinctively thinks of ways to improve and assist the student's educational experience. She has developed a collegial and collaborative relationship with the classroom teacher and her fellow colleagues. She is a compassionate, hardworking, and congenial professional. She is reflective and always seeks to improve her professional practices. She is a team player and sincerely cares for every student and staff in Brett Whiting, which is daily shown through her interactions. She meets every task with an expectation of a positive outcome, and her hardworking attitude and caring way make her absolutely exceptional. With great pleasure and pride, I announce the Whiting ESP of the Year and friend of 30 years, NCHS grad like me, Miss Angela Gray.
I want to say thank you, Mr. West, for that kind word. Good evening, everyone. I am humbled and grateful for winning this award. I would like to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge Mr. Trustaway and the board, Ms. Swift, and my wonderful Whiting family. Also, I would like to thank my family, my husband, my daughter Jasmine, my mother, and my father for being here today. Thank you for your love and your support. And I have to give a shout out to my classroom 23. I work with such awesome ladies, especially the teacher in the classroom, Ms. Henson. You can't help it to be upbeat. You can't help it to enjoy your class, to enjoy your job. She's such a positive and upbeat person. You cannot come to work being angry, upset. Because soon as if you do, when you walk in the door, a big old smile change your whole attitude. So thank you for that positive attitude. And the parents,
Ryan Sikorsky. Thank you. We are a team. We work together. We try to find out the needs. What can we do? How can we make this better? How can we make this work as a team? Thank you. Once again, I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It is truly a blessing to make a difference in the lives of our children. Once again, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's your heart.
Please pardon me for not acknowledging that Angela had her husband and her daughter
Come on.
and her parents with her this evening.
And I have to reiterate what Angela said. There are days sometimes that my days aren't necessarily going as smoothly as I would like them to do, but I have an advantage because my office is not too far from Whiting. And I do hop in to see Mrs. Hinkson and that group going, and when I leave, I forgot everything that was going. I am much happier, and I'll tell you, you guys are outstanding. It's such a positive attitude. You hit it right on the head, Angela. It's a very special place. So if you see me in there, you know it's probably a bad day, but I appreciate you getting me in a good mood, so thank you. Next, our principal from Manchester Township Elementary School, Mrs. Waldron. Come on up.
I understand some people are having a little trouble hearing at home. So, you want me to take this out, Mr. Adams? Is that what you said? Okay. Let's see how this works. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm going to begin by recognizing, because it is my pleasure, to recognize Meredith Smizik as the 2019-2020 Educational Support Professional of the Year at the Manchester Township Elementary School. She's been in the district since 2007 before becoming MTES's full-time guidance counselor in 2017. Her role involves her work closely with the Child Study Team and the MTES staff to develop programs to meet the social and emotional needs of all of our students. She's an integral member of our Intervention and Referral Services team, our New Jersey Tiered System of Support Committee, our 504 team, and she works closely with the Child Study Team. In a world where social and emotional learning is so important to all of our lives, Meredith is right there to offer resources and support to everyone. She's always thinking of new ways to help our students manage chronic behaviors that could be negative or harmful, and she's always looking for the positive way to help them. Mrs. Smizik is flexible and always willing to help a staff member or administrator. She worked closely with the two other elementary guidance counselors to introduce the Medal of Honor Character Development Program 2 years ago and to fit it into the Manchester monthly values that we recognize and honor our students with each month. This accomplishment included writing and gathering lesson plans, creating a list to support literature to complement the new program, as well as conducting lessons and purchasing support materials for the schools. This set the tone for our school culture and climate and has helped tremendously reducing school-wide discipline over these past few years. Mrs. Smizik offers school-based support systems, and outside agencies are given as support to parents in need. She's created a Google Classroom filled with valuable resources for staff and students, and sends monthly emails to support everyone on any topic that would be current or a concern at the school. Giving back to the community is something that she deeply cares about. Over the years, she served on the MTEA Scholarship Committee, reviewing applications for high school scholarships. She served as a mentor to the other elementary guidance counselors, and she supported our Kevin's Kids program to provide happy holidays to all those in need. She serves as a member of our various committees, including Irs, 504, School Safety, Culture, and Climate, Attendance, which is a big one, And she is our peer mediator coordinator for our 5th graders, helping our school community and so that they can make some better choices. She's also one of our school's anti-bullying specialists. Her calm and caring ways make her an asset to our school community, especially in a crisis situation. Mrs. Smizek is well respected by our staff, and often you will see our staff members seeking advice and guidance for their students as well as their own personal needs. On a personal note, she loves spending time with her son Royston, and she is definitely the biggest Disney fan I have ever met. Unfortunately, due to COVID, Mrs. Smizek is on a leave to care for her family. She wishes she could be here tonight. She accepts this award, and she truly appreciates the recognition. So congratulations on behalf of Mrs. Moore, all of the staff at MTS. Meredith Smizek, you are named MTS's Educational Services Professional of the Year. As principal of MTS, it is my pleasure to recognize Ms. Tiffany Clark as MTS's Governor Educator of the Year for 2019-2020. Ms. Clark has been part of the Manchester school system as a substitute teacher since 2009, and she has worked at all 3 elementary schools. She landed a permanent position at MTS, thank goodness, as a special education teacher and basic skills teacher for grades 1, 2, and 3 back in 2012. Today, she teaches 3rd and 5th graders in a resource room setting. Well, lucky for us, Ms. Clark decided not to follow her initial career path. She went to school to be a lawyer, but rather than after studying law and working at a summer camp, her passion for teaching won out. With a pre-law degree from Liberty University and a master's from Georgian Court University, Ms. Clark took a position in Manchester Township, and the rest, they say, is history. Ms. Clark is an exceptionally skilled and dedicated educator. She is a lifelong learner and has proven that over and over by requesting to attend professional development opportunities, even in the summer. She's a sponge for professional development and regularly shares with staff what she learns. One of my favorite 10-minute Tuesday PD sessions was when she shared her put your 2 cents in strategy. It was a big hit with staff, and I had the pleasure of observing her putting it into action with her students and getting them all engaged in learning and having their voices heard using this very simple approach. She is both Wilson and Orton Gillingham trained, and that is no easy task, which allows her to offer interventions and strategies to support all students. Being trained in these specialized programs, having multiple degrees, and her genuine love of learning all make her a true asset to our school community. Ms. Clark demonstrates leadership and innovation in and out of the classroom. She's a valued member of our special education team and our basic skills team, offering suggestions and interventions and advice not only to staff and administration, but to parents as well on a regular basis. She served as the School Improvement Panel teacher representative for several years, working very closely with Mrs. Moore and I to provide leadership in the areas of evaluation, mentoring, and professional development. This role came with many committee responsibilities, including our assessment committee, our school professional development committee, our school safety, culture, and climate committee, and IRS. She continues to serve on all of these committees. She's been instrumental in the implementation of our New Jersey tiered system of support, and she served on our intervention and collection team, which collects support, lessons, hands-on materials for both teachers and parents to use based on the diverse needs of the student population. Ms. Clark inspires students of all backgrounds and abilities to learn. There are times when her day is split between special education and regular education students. However, she treats all with the utmost of respect, and it's reciprocated to her as well. She patiently assists her struggling students and challenges them to be the best that they can be. Educating the whole child is something that she takes to heart, believing that building their self-esteem and their confidence will help them to be successful in and out of the classroom. She uses these phrases that are amazing. Hocus pocus, and you are smart, kind, and important. Those phrases allow all of her students to feel socially and emotionally supported and loved. The positive culture and climate that she developed is contagious, and it's admired by all. Others look to emulate her in their own classroom. Ms. Clark has the respect and admiration of students, parents, administrators, and colleagues. And it should be noted that 2 years ago, she was named a Teacher Who Rocks by a local radio station. Colleagues and parents sent nominations in to support her. Ms. Clark plays an active role in the community as well as in school, and she has very strong family ties and is often seen giving back to our own community. She's an active member of her church and serves on the staff of the New Hope Deliverance Center of Manchester. As a trustee, she handles the finances of the church. Community programs are offered through her guidance and her leadership. Just this Thanksgiving, her church partnered with our Helping Hands for Hunger and provided turkeys and additional food for all of our families in need. And that was just a thought that Ms. Clark had. She's also been a member of our Relight for Life team. She serves in the leadership role for our fun fair. Giving back to the community in which she serves is a lifelong passion and something that she learned from observing the community leadership within her very own family who are here with her tonight. So thank you so much for that. As you can see, Ms. Clark is a humble, passionate, wonderful role model and very deserving of this honor. Her dedication, willingness to work hard, and her strong faith and her belief that every student can learn sets her apart. She truly makes a difference. So on behalf of the MTS staff, Mrs. Moore, and myself, we proudly recognize and honor Tiffany Clark as MTS's Educator of the Year.
Wow, after hearing all those things about myself, I had a whole speech here, but I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm just so filled with gratitude and just wanna simply say thank you. First, I have to give honor to God who has given me the skills and the talents that I'm able to use within my classroom and able to take the different things that I've learned in my family and in ministry and use it to build up my classroom. For that, I am truly, truly thankful. I have to thank my family who has supported me so much in private so that I can shine publicly. They have done things from buying materials and seating and different things for my classroom and even making it. The shelves in my room, my family made. Flexible seating, when it first came out, my uncle got them to materials and tools together over the summer and said, let's do this. So I have to thank my family. They have helped me put my classroom up at the beginning of the year and take it apart at the end. They volunteered for Fun Fair. They volunteered for Dr. Seuss Day, Barnes and Noble's Night. Anything that I'm doing, my family has volunteered and has helped me out, and I'm truly grateful for them because I couldn't have done it alone. I have to say thank you to the administrators. The way my path was set, almost every administrator in this district has played a major role in me becoming the teacher that I am today. From helping me when I finally made the decision to go into teaching to write my first resume to turn in, from being professors that I have and whose quotes I still utilize, and one of the quotes that is a foundational pillar of my classroom. Whether you think you are or you think you can't, you're probably right. And I have used that so much in my classroom to learn that you have to teach to the whole child. While academics is important, if they don't believe they can, they're not gonna go any further than what they can see. But if they believe in who they are, they're gonna push past anything that they can imagine. So I try to teach them with affirmations that you are smart, special, and important. and tell them that it's not enough that Ms. Clark believes that, but you have to believe it for yourself. And I'm seeing so many of my children that have come in with dyslexia and different disabilities shine because they grow to believe that they are somebody. And they grow to believe that they are capable. And I'm so grateful that I've had so many administrators in all three schools to guide me. And even when I question myself, to tell me, Tiffany, you know what you're doing. You're doing the right thing. Administrators to encourage me to find a balance, who have come into my room so nicely after hours to say, should I put a cot in here? As a way of reminding me, Tiffany, you really need to leave. And to mentor teachers who have helped me to figure out my path when I was going back and forth, whether I should go to law school or teach. Mentor teachers in Ridgeway, in Whiting, in MTS that said, no, you are a teacher. And not only are you a teacher, you're a special ed teacher. And I thank you guys so much for that, because I wanted to teach but didn't quite think I had the strength to switch fields. And because of the loving community at Manchester, I had the strength to go after my passion and not just do something that I'm good at. I want to thank the staff at MTS, my whole crew. We truly do support one another. We're more than just colleagues, we are friends. They've helped to talk me off of ledges when I'm overthinking things. They say, Tiffany, stop, you're overthinking it. What's the best way of doing it? You're making this difficult. And I need that, because if anybody who knows me knows that I'm type A and I can go extremely overboard. I'm so thankful for the staff members that were getting their masters at the same time as I was, because they would call and check on me and go, Tiffany, how many pages are you at? And I would go, 8. They said the paper is 5. Either end it or cut it down. So I thank them for that, giving me tools and strategies to help me better my students, being able to let me talk through things and then say you had the answer all along. It's very different from people just to give you strategies, but to allow you to use them as a soundboard to figure out what you're going to do. And to encourage you, even outside of school. When my family had such a difficult time in the spring with COVID, it was a lot of my teacher friends that really held my hand and kept me pushing forward so I didn't fall apart. And I'm so grateful for the administrators and for my staff friends that helped me to get through that. I'm thankful for the parents who trust me enough to be able to guide their children's academic development, and to trust me enough not only to help them grow academically, but as a whole person. And I thank them for that. And most of all, I thank my students. My students who have taught me more than any textbook, more than any workshop or seminar, what is truly important when it comes to being a good teacher. They have taught me that they are what's most important. That making sure that they grow as a whole person is what's most important. That developing a bond and a relationship with your students is what's going to have a lasting positive effect on them as they grow into adults and go out into the world. So I thank my students for continuing to allow me to try out these tools and strategies on them. And even when I push, because I believe that even if a student is in special ed or in basic skills, it doesn't mean that they can't learn and that we have to lower the bar. So I tell them at the beginning of the year, sometimes you're gonna love me, and sometimes you're gonna say, I can't stand that woman. And I love that even when I go into drill sergeant mode, my students have learned to persevere and to push through and to develop tools and strategies that they can incorporate into their own lives so that they can be successful. So once again, I say thank you. And even though this award is given to me, I give it back to all those who have impacted me as an educator and continue to help me strive for the stars. Once again, I say thank you.
Here you go. Finish later with Congratulations. I would say those are very tough acts to follow. So I'm going to say just one more time, with the award winners and their families, please stand up so we can give you one final recognition. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you.
Mr. Trethway, are you going to mention the Educational Support Service from Ridgeway? Does Ms. Major want to say something?
Yeah, I know we
I think it would be
mentioned
appropriate this
that, I
time.
know, but yeah, if you want to say, as far as our educational support person that we honored last year.
Right.
Unfortunately, this person passed away. Very important part of Ridgeway, and it was very difficult. Mrs. Major, maybe just say a few words on her behalf?
So
Diane, right?
So our ESP of the year for 2020 was Diane Carreri.
Take the mic and put it
sorry.
closer.
A little shorter.
I am short. So our Ridgeway ESP of the year was Diane Carreri. I actually hired Mrs. Carreri, and I will never forget that interview because she did nothing but smile, and she brightened up my life immediately, and I knew what the capacity was in her and what she would do with our students, and then she did. And I remember her during that interview saying to me, "You have to hire me because I don't want to go back to ShopRite." So, and she would tell jokes, and she just was absolutely an amazing person. She touched many of us. She spent her time at Ridgeway basically in our preschool classrooms, so her students were very challenged by many different things. They had a lot of needs, and Diane just continued to grow, and she helped everyone around her grow, and we absolutely adored her and loved her. And we honored her last year in several different ways. And what I would say to you is that what she taught me more than anything is you need to embrace each other, and you need to hold each other up. And she was extremely faithful until the very end. She taught my staff a lot, including me, and we miss her very much. So we certainly recognize Ms. Carreri as being our 2020 ESP of the year. Thank you.
Thank you.
It should be noted that we did know that she was not doing well health-wise, so we did decide to do her separately last year instead of doing it in a public forum, which we would normally do, just because time was of the essence. She did not have the time to be able to come. So it was very nice and that she was recognized. And I know she was so appreciative for the fact that she got it.
As you know, the past 11 months has been pretty challenging for our staff, our students, in particular, a lot of our Manchester Township families. One of the great traditions that makes Manchester, which is truly unique, and I don't know of any other district in the state or even longer that does this, is our tradition of Kevin's Kids. This tradition's been carried on for over 38 years. Through the generosity of the district, the Manchester Police, many local businesses, our senior villages, and the entire community, Kevin's Kids Christmas Drive tries to grant the specific wish list of each child. This year presented many challenges for our drive because of the pandemic, but the needs of many of our families were never greater than they were this year. But despite the restrictions that we were faced, despite the pandemic, the spacing, the things that we couldn't do, our district and town were able to keep the tradition alive. Tonight, I'd like to recognize two people who were instrumental in making this happen, and as they represent all of the people that made this happen. Because again, this is what truly, Kevin's Kids is one example of what truly makes Manchester a very, very special place. So I'm gonna ask Mr. George, who has run since Kevin has retired, to say a few words and talk about the two people you have and all the people that made Kevin's Kids possible.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Trethewey. It is truly an honor to thank the board and Mr. Trethewey for their leadership and guidance in the work that we do. It's also wonderful to thank the community and to be able to have this streamed out so that they can hopefully hear some of those thanks, because it is truly inspiring work that gets done every year when we talk about starting up our Kevin's Kids campaign, and this was certainly a unique year. And when you talk about it, and Kathy Antonelli mentioned it takes a village, and it truly does take a village to have an undertaking that at the end of the day, we will help close to 200 families and about 350 or so students in the district, and try to help them in a unique way. And it really does take a village, and it starts with the teachers, and it starts with the building administrators and all the work that goes on in fundraising. It goes out into the community, and it was started 38 years ago in one school, in one classroom, in a conversation, and a teacher that wanted to help a family. And it spread through that building, and it spread through all the other buildings, and it's spread throughout the community now over 38 years. So it takes buildings and grounds to go out and collect all the donations. It takes food service, it takes everybody to make this happen. And so tonight we want to recognize two people who, what we basically do when we bring the whole drive together is it's almost like a little bit of an Amazon fulfillment center, if you will. So the teachers are the point people in talking to the families. They know our families, they develop relationships. They bring all this information in, and all that information needs to go through one person. And that person I'd like to bring up first is Mrs. Jessica Brosnan, who is a teacher at MTS. Jess, come on up if you would, please. And so Jess is the person that takes all that information and brings it all together so that it can be, that we can fulfill those needs. And then the second thing is, as part of our fulfillment center, if you will, is we need a space, and we need a lot of space because our community is so giving. And the donations come in, and what we truly try to do is take a list, shop from the donations for the list, and when we can't fulfill from our own donations, we go out to Target, and we purchase the things that we need for our students and our families. We also have a great relationship with Walmart. So we need one person that can make all of that happen. And at this time, I'd like to bring up Patty Krishik, because she is truly the person that manages the North Pole. And both have been involved in the drive for a number of years. And when you see it in action, it truly is amazing. And one of a funny story this year was we wanted to get going early because we knew it was going to be a tough year. So we were going to set up in the middle school early because the room was not occupied for a construction project. We got going, and then Mr. Trethaway called to say, okay, that room's no longer available. We need to find a new room. So Ridgeway opened its arms and different rooms, and Patty was good enough to quickly pack everything up and move it next door and get things going. But these relationships and this community effort has really led to some inspiring things. And over the course of years, you know, one story I tell is that Kevin's kids gave a student a computer a number of years ago, and that student went on to study computer science at MIT. I mean, that's pretty powerful stuff when you're helping people, and it goes back to what Tiff is saying, and believing in kids and working with families and giving people the opportunity, and that's some powerful stuff. And there's been years where we've been able to give a kid a bike who needs a bike to get to and from work, and things like that, and relationships that are in place to make those things happen. So it really, I am extremely grateful and honored to be a part of it, to work with such amazing people who truly put their heart and soul into all of it, to be supported by a Board of Education and a community that works with each other. And so on behalf of all of us, we just want to say thank you. Thank you to obviously Jess and Patty who are here. And truly, if we brought everybody in and you heard it across tonight, we would fill this auditorium with staff members from Manchester Township School District who work very closely with Kevin's kids. So we are honored to represent them tonight, and thank everybody for all of their efforts. Thank you.
Jessica? You're not kidding. Patty, thank you. Thanks for guiding and working on all those things. Here's your oxygen. Very good.
Stay here.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And again, as many districts that we've been around, or other people have been around, this is truly something very unique to Manchester. I know that in December, if I have to get a haircut at Jimmy C's, I have to empty my trunk because I'm getting a bunch of toys that I have to deliver out. So that's all part of what the community brings back. So it's very special. Next is, we're going to do a presentation on mental health and social emotional. And as you guys start setting up, just to talk a little bit about that, and again, we all know these last 11 months, our staff, our students are faced with so many challenges in providing the education and the instruction and a learning environment in a hybrid schedule and some in a remote-only schedule, and a lot of things that are not the same. I continue to say that our staff and students are doing an amazing job addressing these challenges, but there is a lot more to it than just the education challenges. The pandemic is tremendously stressful to our students, our parents, and our staff. The loss of everyday interactions between the teachers and the students with their peers and students can have such a negative effect on all of us. It's so important that the district reaches out and provides information and services for our families to deal with the stresses that have become a part of everyday life. Tonight, we're going to be presenting a summary of some of those services that are available to our students and parents in regard to mental health, social emotional learning. Now, I know Mrs. Pedroza, along with Mr. George and Mr. Lokerson, played an important part in preparing the presentation. Unfortunately, Mrs. Pedroza is not able to attend tonight, but I do believe she's on the line somewhere, of course. So the two individuals who work with Mrs. Pedroza, as Mr. Lokerson and Mr. George, will present the information tonight. But the nice thing also is this will eventually be on our website. So we encourage, there'll be a lot of information tonight. We'll just scratch the surface. But if you turn into the website, you'll be able to access the information and the starting points of where families and parents can go if they need help in dealing with some of the stress that really we're all trying to deal with this pandemic. So how do you best want to do this? Is this a...
We'll ask the board to come down, maybe stand over here.
Sure.
Okay. Historically, audience, at this time, people that are out for the Teacher of the Year, many students are young, need to go home for homework and all that kind of stuff. If you need to leave, we understand. Don't feel like you're embarrassing anybody by doing that. And we go from there. I know a number of people I see did leave because of student care and that kind of stuff. And that is perfectly fine. We hope you do stay, but we understand if you don't.
Okay, thank you very much. And as everybody, I think it's kind of interesting that coincidentally, we're doing the presentation on a night where we also recognize our Teachers of the Year. And when you hear about what their day sounds like and all the different ways that they're supporting their kids, you're going to kind of see a lot of that stuff echoed throughout the presentation. And as Mr. Trethaway said, what we really want to do is kind of give you an overview here of the resources and the things that are available. But if you leave with one kind of thought from tonight's presentation and when I'm speaking to the families in the district, it's that we've got a lot of support and we have a lot of resources. And so please, if you have questions or challenges or things going on, reach out to your teacher, reach out to your building principal so that we can utilize the vast toolbox, if you will, of tools that we have to support our families. And the one thing we recognize is when we talk about the current state of affairs in education and the impact of COVID and what this year has looked like, is that you realize that there's a depth and a breadth to the ripple effect of how this is impacting students. And we feel like we have a very strong, like I said, a toolbox, if you will, where we can work with students and families across a number of different avenues. And when you talk about academically speaking, we're talking about general education students. Part of that is the New Jersey Tiered Systems of
You're
Support,
taking all these
which is
things
a
up to
system
dinner?
that's already in place.
She should, right? Congratulations, Jen. Got the card. Did she ever get home? I don't know. Did she ever get home?
I think he's already.
No, but you come back at 7.
So to piggyback, when we first got this system at the high school, Mr. Lister will remember this, somebody got a hold of one of these remote mics and had it in the building, a student, and we were doing a class assembly, and then we realized that these mics travel pretty far. So you have to be careful. This is not a new situation. So but when we talk about the tiered systems of support, these are things that have been in place to help students academically with whatever challenges that might come up. And Mr. Loperson is going to talk about some of those tiers of support. There's INRS, which is Intervention and Referral Services. When the New Jersey Tiered Systems of Support has kind of run its course, then things escalate to the INRS. There's special education and 504 plans as things progress. And then we also recognize as students were spending a lot of time remotely and there was isolation, we had concerns coming into the school year from an anti-bullying perspective and cyberbullying and things like that and what impact that might have for students. We also recognize, as Mr. Trethewey mentioned, that families have been impacted financially, and there might be some displaced families. And so we've tried to provide support to our families across a broad spectrum of avenues. And tonight we're just going to kind of talk about some of the general things. And when you talk about social emotional learning, I think you heard it referenced in several teachers' talks tonight. Again, that is something that has been also kind of put in place by the State Department of Education. And when they look at things, they say, okay, well, what do we want our students to do? What are the competencies? What does this look like throughout the course of the day? And across a K-12 curriculum, it can look a lot of different ways. It can be specific to a classroom. It could be represented in building-wide initiatives. It could be represented in guidance counselors, web pages, and it could be district-wide programs. So but these are the competencies that we talk about when we talk about social emotional learning. Ideas like self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, responsible decision-making, and relationship skills. And again, developmentally, in a kindergarten class versus a 12th grade class, it's very different, but it's broad in the ideas that we want to meet our students where they are and support them through the process. And to talk a little bit about the tiered systems of support, Mr. Loperson has been very involved in the district-wide initiative regarding NJTSS.
Just a couple of comments. And if you think about what's going on right now, there's literally not one thing in our lives, not one thing that has not been affected by COVID. So we want to make sure that what we have in place, we have the structure in place for all of our employees. Okay, NJTSS is one part of that structure. But more importantly, we want to push our staff and make sure that they're communicating and collaborating to the greatest degree possible. We want our teachers to be attentive. We want them to make sure that they're skilled observers. And we can't push that more than what is taking place right now. So the New Jersey Tiered System Support is in general education. Any student who is struggling, any parent who lets us know that their student is struggling, any parent who is struggling, any staff member who is struggling, we can kind of go through this tiered systems of support. So when you take a look at this, this is in general education, and we are doing whatever is necessary to meet the individual needs of our students.
So, and when we talk about the district resources, we've tried to approach it from a couple of different perspectives. Again, this year with remote learning and the virtual classroom, there was a lot of technology support and things that were put in place. So, obviously it all started with our district restart plan, which is on the website. Once this gets posted, all these are live links, which will take you to exactly the places that are described in the presentation. There's the District Parent Academy for Digital Learning, where there's all kinds of tutorials for parents across what platforms are being used in the classroom, and all the different things like that. We've got the Remote Learning Resources folder, a virtual learning toolkit, and the parent page. So this is the district parent page, and again, we try to reach out to families in a number of different ways. The website is an important one. Right now, it looks like we get about 2,800 views a month on the page, about 14,000 so far this year. So the good news is parents are using the resources. They are getting there, they are seeing it. We're also on Facebook, and we're trying to, on Twitter, we're trying to get as much information out to families in as many different avenues as we can. This is the Parent Academy, and those are some of the things that your parents can find more information on. Again, a lot of this deals with the remote learning environment and the different platforms that are being used in the classroom. We also have some upcoming additional presentations that the district is going to be doing so that families can have some additional support. So on February 18th, the elementary schools have a presentation. On the 16th, the middle school and regional day, and the high school is on the 25th. And there is a flyer on the district website with some more information about this as well. You know, again, we talk about, you know, where can parents find the support? The district website is a great source of information. Your student's teacher is the first resource that you have in your toolbox as a parent. But obviously we have guidance counselors available in all of our buildings as well. These are just all the contact information for our high school counselors and their website, the middle school counselors, and the elementary school counselors as well. These are all the anti-bullying specialists. Again, there was a lot of concern about the cyber world and what impact that was going to bring to the classroom. The good news is that's not really what we're seeing. We're not seeing a lot of cases like that involving kids going, you know, using the web and the cyber world to go after each other. That's not been something that we've seen. I think when you talk to most teachers, they long for the day when they would have the chatty classroom back in their building, you know, because a lot of the classrooms are quiet, the students are quiet, they're there to take care of business, they're happy to be in the building, but it's just generally a quieter environment. Now we also listed a whole, all different resources. These are things specific to the restart plan and some general guidance about Corona and what's going on. This has been an evolving, source of information. As things get updated, we have a tremendous relationship with the Ocean County Department of Health. Our nurses have done a fantastic job of helping us go through all this information, understand all this information, and most importantly, share this information with the families who are dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. So they have been a tremendous resource for our families. When you talk about some of the anxiety and these are just some tips that for students going through this, for ourselves and for our staff members, but just kind of managing that anxiety. Controlling what we can control and getting ourselves through this difficult time. And it's by doing it together and working hard together that we can do it. And that's why really the message to parents is when you have a challenge, when you have a question, when you have a concern, reach out to your teacher, reach out to your building principal, and we can start that process to help you across a wide array of areas. Again, struggles with food. The district we have free breakfast and lunch for every student in the district. And that stuff can be taken home, and so we've delivered meals. If that's a challenge for families, we can help in that area as well. These are some hotlines and some outside resources that families may need, and if they need, obviously all these services are available, most of them 24/7, if they're having those types of crises. Some youth lines, some substance abuse resources, some social emotional learning resources. Again, the great thing about this, and if you listen to what Tiffany said, that's the approach that our teachers bring to the classroom every day. And these are fantastic teachers, and we have a wonderful staff. And everybody's there to help their kids and support their students, and we'll do whatever we can. Just some local programs in the community that are out there. Some disability resources.
And if you take a look, guys, at the NJ Department of Human Services, that's the booklet that the Board of Education members have. Okay, tonight, you'll see that there's a print version, there's an audio version, and a Spanish version, but I think that's outstanding information. That's all posted. So people can access that without these booklets, but they can access that there. Keep in mind that all of this information fits within the tiered systems of support. If the tiered systems of support doesn't work, then we go to the Irs Committee. If you go to the Irs Committee, they're actually referred to that committee. Okay, in that committee, they make a decision whether or not we should develop a plan. And if a plan is developed, it's called an action plan. We come back and we revisit that Irs Committee to see if it's working. If it's working, terrific. We continue to do what we've been doing. If it doesn't work, then we can kind of take a look and see, do we need to refer to special education, or do we need to refer to a 504 review committee? And that's what I'm talking about when we're talking about the structure. And we're encouraging all of our staff members to make sure they understand that structure so they can continue to communicate and collaborate with one another to make absolutely certain that our students are getting what they need.
And again, if you click on the red link, you'll be brought right to that resource, you know, once this presentation is posted. So everything is linked and all the links are active. So it really is all kinds of resources, and what's so unique about this situation, and I think as we spend more time in it, we recognize the depth and the breadth of it. But I think it's important that everybody knows that support is out there, help is out there, and by working together, we can get people the support and the help that they need. It really has been an amazing effort from a district perspective. It has taken every staff member in every different capacity who has contributed to that plan and contributed to the support of our students, whether it be paraprofessionals delivering the lunches, transportation delivering lunches, our guidance, our student assistant counselor at the high school has brought together a tremendous number of resources for our high school kids. Teachers are constantly looking at new opportunities and additional ways to support our kids. And so there's a lot of work being done, and we look forward to helping our families. And again, it really just starts with communication, and that's really the goal of tonight, is to make sure that everybody's aware of them, and when you have a question, that you reach out and we can point you in the right direction. Because for 3,000 kids, it can look 3,000 different ways. But the good news is we've got 3,000 ways to help. We look forward to that opportunity.
And Alex, did you want to bring them up to date on our homeless right now as well? The numbers that we're talking about?
Yeah, we're not seeing a tremendous amount of families that are dealing with those situations, but those that we're helping through those situations and getting them support and having them, getting them the resources that they need to hopefully to get on the right track. So, Ms. Carter?
I just want to thank everyone who put the time and effort into putting these resources together. This is what I've been saying probably at every single meeting since the pandemic has begun, with all of the meetings that I've attended for the county, for the state of New Jersey School Board Association. I want to compliment everyone involved here. I appreciate it because they're saying this is going to get worse. You know, that the bottom hasn't dropped out yet as far as these families are concerned. There are kids that are not saying anything, and sometimes as parents, you know, sometimes as teachers myself, you know, we don't know for sure exactly what's going on in these kids' heads, and, you know, finding out the resources at the right times are so important, and having that conversation with your children, and your, you know, both in the classroom and as a parent, that's so important to do as well. I have a question for you though on the Parent Academy and digital tools virtual workshops that you're having.
Right.
So these are just strictly digital tool workshops, or will there be some topics like anxiety, depression, topics like that will be covered at all?
I think those workshops are more from a digital toolbox, from a teacher perspective and an academic perspective.
Will there be anything, will we like branch off? I know we have the digital aspect, and then we have the social emotional component of the Parent Academy, but will we be able to do
There
that?
are a lot of resources that do specifically target social emotional learning if a parent is looking to get more information and things from that perspective. Again, I think if a parent is concerned about the way that their child might be reacting or is currently feeling about how things are going on, I would, you know, again, strongly recommend that they reach out to the building principal, who will put them in touch with the guidance counselor, or, you know, whoever it might be that can best address those concerns that the parents have.
Also, obviously, this is an evolving process, We're going to be tweaking this throughout the year based on the needs of our students. We're going to try to be skilled observers ourselves and listen to parents to see what they need so that we can begin to address, you know,
And
every
I think
single issue.
with that branch off of the social emotional, like we've got the digital platform.
Right.
I think doing the social emotional, getting maybe the health department to do some presentations. I know they're doing that through other campuses as well.
Right.
Where they can come and do a Zoom meeting for parents. You know that, there's a lot of mental health out there. I know that they're willing to do Zoom for us. I'm just, you know, on
Yep.
that as well. But this is fantastic. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep, no, absolutely. Any other questions? And again, I think it is, and when we talk about controlling the controllable, I'll leave you with one story that from my week and the opportunity I had to go to and observe a high school band class. And to see what those kids are doing and what that teacher has done in terms of changing what the traditional band experience is, which is playing together, being part of the ensemble, and that's such a big part of it. But to see those kids go in, and now the focus is shifted more individually, so the kids are getting a tremendous opportunity. If you want to become a better saxophonist, you're going to get a lot more one-on-one time with the teacher to do that. And through the use of breakout rooms and some kids remote and some kids in the classroom sharing, taped performances that they did and giving each other feedback on different things. And I understand when teachers say they look forward to that chatty classroom again, but to hear a kid in a remote classroom say, "Oh, Mrs. Colt, use my example, I'd love some feedback on that last piece I just recorded." And, 5 or 6 kids in the classroom giving that feedback. And, kids are incredibly resilient. And I think we're working our way through it, and we're getting better every day, and we're working tremendously hard. But, kids are tremendous. They're amazing. And so as we work through it, I think we'll hear more of those kinds of stories and try to get to as normal as we can, given the current, the current parameters that we have in this situation. Okay? Anybody else? Any other questions? Thank you very much.
All right. Mr. Trethwaite, do you have a report, or you've already given it?
Just 1 second. No. I'm on with it. Shouldn't be. That's the problem. Ooh. There it is. Okay? Yes. And I apologize for having my microphone out when I shouldn't have my microphone. So I apologize for that. Next, just a couple quick things now. School board recognition, it'll be in our agenda, but New Jersey School Boards Association declared January 2021 to the School Board Recognition Month, and I'm not going to read all the whereases and so forth, but the important part is a couple of things. Number one, and believe it or not, some people don't realize this, but the school board members do not receive any pay. There is no remuneration for their services, and they are in it for public school students, whether they've had children in the schools, whether they want to give back to the community that they're an integral part of, whether they've had children that have been in the schools, or whether they've had no children. It's an important part of our education that we keep local control, because things that affect Trenton or Passaic or Jersey City may not be what we're dealing with in Manchester. And things that we're dealing with in Manchester may not be what they're dealing with in Toms River and Berkeley or whatever. So it's real important that the citizens of our town, which is Manchester, keep that local control. They communicate the needs of the school district to the public, and they convey to the school administrators public expectations for the schools. And again, I've worked, obviously we have two new board members, and thank you for coming on. The other board members I've had the pleasure of working with for a number of years, and one of the things that's uniform with all, and we all have different opinions on things, but the one thing that they are uniform is finding the funds that go directly to the students. And we've been very fortunate. We've been ahead of the game in many cases. We were one-on-one with our technology before a lot of bigger or more wealthy school districts are, because the board made a commitment that was an important part. And obviously, as it turned out, with what we're dealing with, was a very important part. So again, I want to thank the board members for their services and recognize them for the school board recognition month in January. Next is just on the agenda, you'll see A2. That's a memorandum of agreement, and just to say aside, that's something that we do each year. It's an agreement with the Manchester Police Department, and again, I can't say enough about the police department. They have been very integral in working with the safety, all of the security drills that we have. I know Alex works very closely with them. But anytime that we've had any needs, we have an SRO in the building. We have two Class 3 officers in middle school and in the elementary school. They've been a very important part of our district, and again, the Manchester Police have always been very good with us here. So I want to thank them, and we will continue that agreement with them, being able to do what's best for our students. Next is there's a section 1F, which is, I know Mr. Lorenzen may talk about that. That's something about sewer laterals. And the only thing I want to say, and I want to reach out, and I want to thank Mayor Palmer and the Lenore Building Development. They have a development right near our board office and transportation department, and they were both very critical in helping to coordinate the work that we needed for our transportation and board office facilities. So we were able to tap into some things that the Lenore people had in their development, and Mayor Palmer was very instrumental in making sure that we got that communication. So I want to reach out and thank both of those. We do know that there's a calendar change as a result of one of the days that we lost the school for a power outage. The in-service day is now February 5th. It's moved back a day, and the last day of school has been moved back to June 23rd. School play, I think I had a question on school play, and we are proceeding with school play, and the school play is scheduled for April 23rd, 24th, and 23rd and 24th, with the 25th being a rain date. The production is Into the Woods, and all audition students were given a part. There were 19 members in the cast, and everyone who auditioned were given some kind of a part. The January rehearsal schedule is out. They're looking to do on the offset that we're not totally ready to come back to this beautiful auditorium. They are making plans to look at some outside performance, if that's possible, whether it's going to be at the Harry Wright Lake, where they would have to work with the town, or some other outside area. So they're looking at a couple things, but we're moving forward. It would be nice to get back to what we call normal. We're sure, but we're looking at plan A and B and C, but we're moving ahead with our school musical, which is a good thing. And finally, the district status, just to give you an update, as you see, weekly I give an account on the website about the number of positive cases that we have throughout the school, and we continue to show a number of cases. But again, most, if not all, that we can see have come from outside activities. And while that's something that we're very careful about here, we also have to be very important that we don't spread anything here. So I want to thank the staff and the students for maintaining the 6 feet, maintaining the mask whenever possible. We continue to, it's a day-by-day situation, as I've mentioned to the board. Things can pop up at any moment. We've had situations where at Ridgeway and at NTS, there situations have developed where we had to move to remote in very short time. I know the parents, it's very difficult on the parents for that to happen. but please understand that we're making those decisions based on what's safe and what's healthy for our staff and our students. So that's something that I monitor and the administrators monitor every day. And at this point, we're continuing with the hybrid schedule. It looks like we're moving forward with that and continue with that. That way we have, we did bring a number of students back several weeks ago. That went from 2 days to 4 days, and 2 days of some more of our special needs students and some of our vocational students. But on the whole, we're going through it every day, and again, it's only because we've had a staff and student body and parents who've been very understanding and working through the health situation. So again, thank you for that, and that ends my report.
All right, Mr. Lorenzen?
Okay, just a couple quick things. We are into the budget process for the upcoming school year, for the 21-22 school year. That started back in October. So, it's kind of hard to imagine that you're starting to plan for the next school year when you're only a month or two into your current school year. But we start meeting with our schools and our departments next week to start reviewing their budgets. We will be setting up 2 meetings in February with the board so that the department heads and the principals can come present their budgets to the board. Those are public meetings, so anybody that wants to attend those are welcome. Budgets are due to the county office March 22nd. So the next couple of months, we'll be trying to figure out, what kind of budget we're going to present. We're in a bit of a unique situation this year because we don't know what next year is going to be like yet. We don't know if we're going to be back under regular instruction. We don't know if we'll still be hybrid. Each model comes with different costs and different needs, so we're going to kind of be going into this budget season, kind of preparing 2 or 3 versions of the budget and see which one we need in March. And then just 2 items on the agenda. Dave mentioned one. There's one project on the agenda for a sewer lateral. What that's about is there's a septic tank that supports the 2 offices up at the board. The central office, the transportation office, and the facilities office. The septic tank is failing, and unfortunately, we don't have the space to replace the septic tank under the current guidelines and regulations with all the buses that we have. So the next best thing to do is connecting to the sewer, the town sewer. As Dave said, part of that project was we needed a manhole put in to connect to, and the development that was built behind our building was gracious enough to do that work for us. So that took off a big expense. So this will be to design this project, and it'll probably be something we'll try to bid late spring and start work probably in the summertime. Again, this is all going to depend on what our summer looks like. If we're running extended school year programs, things like that, we'll have to work around that because we will have buses going in and out. And then the second one is we are relocating our trainer's room here at the high school. We have worked with our town officials on some things that we need. They are going to require a set of drawings, mechanical and engineering. So we are going to need our architects to do those drawings for us, so that's what the second one is. And that is my report.
Okay, so state giving us any idea of when they'll be announcing the funding schedule?
They have not given us any information at all, really. Typically, state aid comes out at the end of February, right? Now, in past years, they've delayed it, but typically the governor will do his address this last Tuesday of February.
Okay.
And we'll typically have our numbers 48 hours from his address. So that's where we're anticipating. We're anticipating that we'll get those numbers at the end of February, but we have not heard anything on whether S2 is still going to be in place, whether there's going to be state aid cuts. There's theories that it's an election year and he may not cut school aid this year. So we're just waiting, and we're going to wait and see. They've been pretty quiet with state aid information over the last couple of years. Typically, some information may leak out from time to time, but as of this point, we haven't heard anything. So what we're planning is we're planning a budget at flat state aid and a budget with, you know, a reduction, at least what our reduction would be under Senate Bill S2.
And how is our construction project going at the middle school?
It's actually going very well. I have to say it's a very good change of pace considering what we dealt with in our last construction project. These guys are doing a phenomenal job. They're working quick. They're ahead of schedule. They work clean. They're not in anyone's way. They notify us if something's going on and they fix it. So the project is moving along. Dave and I will be meeting with them virtually on Monday to start figuring out what we're going to do as far as, you know, furniture layout, you know, flooring, that type of stuff, and kind of get that going, because they'll be ready to do that probably in the next month and a half.
All right, what's the anticipated date of completion?
The original date of completion, I believe, was May.
Right.
And I think we are on target for that, or possibly sooner. Again, this will depend on materials, and if we can get materials on time, then we're still on target for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, do we have any board member reports? I would ask that you please keep it short, as we've been here for a while already, and we still have a ways to go. So, does anybody have any board report?
Yes, I did. First, I'd like to congratulate the Manchester Middle School girls who made the basketball and the cheer teams. Good luck to the boys who are trying out, I think the 28th or the 29th, I can't recall the date offhand. Congratulations to the high schoolers who made your teams. We're almost halfway through the year already. Hope everybody keeps their heads up high. You've got this. I'm hoping we all get back, as many of you, for more face-to-face time. I'm hoping maybe we can eventually add Wednesdays, and then hopefully, you know, just keep adding more and more face time for our students. As was mentioned in several of the speeches, takes a village. Manchester's lucky to have all of their staff. It was so nice to honor Kathy Antonelli, Tiffany Clark, Lisa Gould, and ESPs, Angela Bray, Meredith Smiza, Diane Carreri. May she, you know, rest in peace and watch over us. I thought the resource packet that was put together and presented was awesome. I think it's nice to have a cheat sheet so accessible, so hopefully all the parents and staff and students who need extra help will take advantage of that. And thank you to Alex George, Jessica Brosnan, and Patty Krishnick for your awesome job with the Kevin's kids.
Thank you. All right, anyone else?
Yes, I'm just hoping that all of our families, our students, and our teachers, administrators, support staff are doing well, both socially and emotionally. I've heard this quote, and I have to share it. I think I might have shared this with you, Mr. Trapaway, but we know this is like trying to put a plane together in the air. Really, that's like the best way to describe what's happening with COVID and the pandemic. It really is. But know that you are incredible, everyone. Know that you are, and we appreciate you. You know, you are so appreciated, every single one of you. You're very, very important to us. With that being said, I did attend 3 meetings, kind of a short month. The first one was on the 11th, was the Cal County Association of Leaders meeting. We discussed, we had an open forum, and we talked about student difficulties with remote learning. We had a couple of principals present some information. They talked about the failure rate, not doing very well, the students that are refusing to go on and participate. A lot of ideas were shared. Don't you worry, I'll be sharing those with Mr. Trapaway as well. Great ideas. And actually, I had a nice conversation as we walked in earlier about some of my ideas. Another meeting that I attended was the same night. There was a Hudson County School Board meeting. I had a hike from Trenton to Hudson County. No, just kidding. It was all virtual. But I attended the Hudson County meeting, and later on during the week, I attended the Union County meeting. We had the same conversation there. It was an open discussion. A lot of questions that everybody had was, how is your district tracking and assessing student learning? We shared a lot of our ideas about what we're doing and how we're doing it. How is your district planning for beyond the 2021 school year, which we talked about before? It's going to be hard to tell what's going to happen. It really is. But hopefully we'll remain positive and we'll be out of this soon. And the last question was, how are you planning for school facilities for COVID-19? Two other things I just want to share too. Coming up, board members, we have an Ocean County School Board Association, which I am a vice president of. We have a joint meeting coming up if you'd like to attend. It's for Ocean and Monmouth County School Board Association combined. That will be February 11th. If you'd like to sign up, I know you can just go right online to njsba.org and sign up there. I can help you out if you need to. And by the way, you know, you can't attend all county meetings. I'm kind of like, you know, you want to talk about type A person, that's me, I go to them all. Because I love learning about new ideas that we can bring back to our board, and I bring back to my job as well. So if you're interested in doing that, I can help you. One other thing too, February 5th is the Board of Directors meeting. It's a Friday night from 7 to 9:30. We do that virtually, and that meets a couple times a year, and we're preparing for our delegate assembly. So that is my report.
And do they have a date for the delegate assembly yet?
Delegate assembly, I think, is scheduled for May.
6th, probably. You say it tonight.
Yeah, May, and yes, yeah.
And we do want to encourage Ms. McCarty. She's up for a state office as Vice President of County Affairs, right?
I'm up for Vice President of New Jersey School Board Association for county activities. I figure I'd go to them all. But yeah, I've been doing so much with them, and I'm so involved in the county as an officer. You know, I get involved in so much because I'm so fascinated by it. And as a teacher, you're constantly learning, and you want to bring back. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public participation on agenda items only? Seeing no one coming forward, we'll close that. Old business, we need to elect a vice president. So we tabled that at our last meeting. We want to revisit that at this point. What I'm going to do, I'm going to open up the floor again for nominations. There is no second needed, so you just need a first. And then we'll do a roll call after nominations have ceased. So, Mr. Jenner on, I assume so?
Can we check this? Where is Chris?
Chris, do we know if Mr. Jenner's still with us?
Jenner, Mr. Monahan, are they still on?
I haven't heard him in a minute.
Haven't heard them.
Mr. Jenner, you're still there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, good. All right, I hereby open the floor for nominations to the position of Vice President, Manchester County Board of Education for the year 2021.
I nominate Mrs. Mount.
Mrs. Mount nominated Mr. Staples. Do we have any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Melanie Biscardi.
All right, Mr. Jenner nominates Mrs. Biscardi. Do we have any other nominations? All right, I announce nominations ceased. We'll have a roll call, Mr. Lorenzen.
Okay, so our first roll call will be on the nomination of Gail Mount.
Mrs. Mount.
What's that?
Mrs. Mount, she's nominated first.
Okay, Mr. Staples.
Yes.
Ms. Mount? Yes. Mr. Jenner?
No.
Mrs. Servanek?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
No.
Ms. Wingler? Mr. P.
Present, not voting.
Okay. So we do not have a majority. We have 3. Okay, the next one will be Mr. Jenner's nomination of Ms. Biscardi. Mr. Staples?
No.
Ms. Mount? No. Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Mr. Servanek?
No.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Ms. Wingler? Mr. P.
Present, not voting. Okay, we're still at stalemate. We'll revisit again next month. Okay.
At what point do we go to the executive superintendent?
I have to find out about that. I don't know. I'll
I
have
think he would wait till February.
at least February's meeting.
So at this point,
That way.
it would go there, right, at this point you're saying?
We'll try one more time in February.
February,
Okay.
give us that.
We'll give it, that'd be 3 times, and then we'll see at that point if we need to send it over to the county superintendent or not. All right, Mr. Lorenzen, do we have any correspondence?
We have no correspondence.
Okay, we'll move on to the action part of the meeting then. Section 1A, minutes, numbers 1 through 4. Need a motion?
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mount?
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pete.
Yes. B, travel, number 1. Need a motion?
You make a motion?
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Staples,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pete.
Yes. C, Public Agency Compliance Officer, number 1. I need a motion.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. Oh, I thought you were,
You want to
I
discuss
thought you
it?
had.
You want to discuss it?
Want to have Sorry. It's getting late.
We have a late minute withdrawal here?
I don't think you have a choice.
Okay. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Staples,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pete.
Yes. D, School Board Recognition Month, number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Mr. Staples,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pete.
Yes. E, ESEA Amendment 2020-2021, number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll just offer some. The reason this is here is Mel Ferretto retired, so we are just replacing him in the grant. And anytime we change personnel in the grant, we do need the board.
Yes. Okay, roll call?
Mr. Staples,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pete.
Yes. F, Sewer Line Project, number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Any discussion? A roll call, please?
Mr. Staples,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pete.
Yes. G, Remodel High School Trainers Room, number 1. I need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Will we be getting more than one bid? Or is it just this Spiegel architect?
Well, Spiegel is our architect. They're the ones that are going to be doing our drawings. We're actually doing the work in-house.
Okay.
Our own guys are going to do it, so it's obviously going to save us a bunch of money. But the township, in order to get permits, require drawings from an architect that has a level 3 mechanical certification. So that's what this is for.
Do you have an approximate amount that the Spies will be charging us for the print?
For this one, it'll be 10,000.
10,000?
How much do you anticipate the project will cost since you're doing it in-house?
It won't be much because we've done some of it already. We're basically building walls, and what this is for is we have to relocate. Again, it's a sewer line, but we have to relocate a sewer line and some drainage and things like that. So I don't have an exact cost yet because we're not at that point, but it'll be significantly less than if we did it.
All right, any other discussion? All right, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Staples,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pete.
Yes. All right, Section 2A, Administrative, number 1 through 4. May I have a motion, please?
Motion?
You have a discussion?
No, I'm going to do a second first.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Yes. A second.
Okay, now discussion.
Okay, so this is just for number 2, approve the state memorandum of agreement. I'm hoping that, I know we've added one officer, an additional officer to the middle school. I'm hoping that we add another one to come in to also help and secure, make sure that the kids are doing well, make sure that, we're protected, the kids are protected. So, yeah, I just want to make a point that, hope we get another officer, okay?
Duly noted. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Staples,
Yes.
Ms. Mount,
Yes.
Mr. Jenner,
Yes.
Mr. Servant,
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi,
Yes.
Ms. Wingler, Mr. Pate?
Yes. B, personnel, number 1 through 20. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Any discussion?
I would just add, we do have one correction on number 16.
Number what?
Sam Galetta is at the middle school and not White School.
Which number?
Number 60.
15?
60.
So 60.
Middle school instead of Wedding.
Okay, that's MTMS. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mapp?
Yes.
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Mr. Servadac?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Ms. Winkler? Mr. Pate?
Yes. C, student personnel, number 1 and 2. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I just actually want to say something positive. There's 17 names there that were hopefully going to be approved to work in our schools, and I think it's great that we have all these people still interested in education with all the craziness that we're going through now. So I think it's great that we're going to have some more fresh blood.
I
working with our
agree.
students.
Yes.
I don't know if blood is a good term there,
It's a tough job.
but at least you didn't say victims. Will these personnel here be doing their observations remotely, or will they actually be in class physically?
It will be a combination. There'll be some in the classroom and some being done remotely.
All right. And are they all over the spectrum as to?
All 3 elementary schools,
These are all elementary?
all elementary.
There's no middle, no regional day, no high school here?
Not in the TCNJ, the high school,
High school.
the key universities.
Okay. These are all elementary positions. All right. Any other questions from anyone?
No, good luck to them all.
Yep, for sure. All right, have a roll call, please.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mapp?
Yes.
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
Mr. Servadac?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Ms. Winkler? And Mr. Pate?
Yes. All right, D, special services, number 1. Need a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes. Same thing I say every month. Now, this is 3 students that we're approving for out-of-district placement. I think we really need to start revisiting more in-house special ed programs. Maybe we can hire some behavioralists and keep some of these kids in-house.
And as I mentioned, one of them is a change in placement, so that would have no effect. He's already out of district. The other 2 are move-ins from preschool. So they maintain that placement until we.
Who will be returning?
And one will be returned.
I've heard Gail, though, bring that up at a lot of meetings that I've heard, and I agree.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Ms. Mooney.
I'm sorry, I said I've heard Gail bring it up at a lot of previous meetings, and I agree with her that we should start looking.
Well, I think when we have an appropriate placement, like we do have the autism classes and we do have the preschool handicap and so forth, and I think those are pretty well subscribed that we do, but in these particular cases, they would not be, obviously they're moving preschools and the change in placement has nothing to do with where they already are out of district.
And I will share additional information about all of that at the budget meeting coming up.
Good, thank you.
And I know over the past years, I've been at this a long time. We've been asking Mr. Loverston to do that since day 1 that I came on back in 1995. And we have brought some programs back in. We've had to drop some programs. These children all come in with such varied special needs that they're all over the place, that to group them and to come up with any one service is very, very difficult. It's very, very
We're
difficult.
always looking, right?
I know, we're always looking. I know we
Has
are.
to do with the aging cluster,
Yeah,
pretty complicated.
it's very complicated. All right, good. Thank you. All right, any other discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mapp?
Yes.
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
And Mrs. Servadac?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Ms. Winkler? And Mr. Pate?
Yes. All right, section 3A, finance, numbers 1 through 5. Need a motion? Motion.
Second?
Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Staples?
Yes.
Ms. Mapp?
Yes.
Mr. Jenner?
Yes.
And Mr. Servadac?
Yes.
Ms. Biscardi?
Yes.
Ms. Winkler? Mr. Pate?
Yes. Okay, now we're to the public participation for non-agenda items. I understand some people are probably going to want to come forward to speak. If you do come up to speak, please come up to the microphone so everyone can hear you. Give us your name, and we go from there. All right? see several people moving forward, good. You have to try Destiny, I don't know if it's on or not.
Hi, my name is Destiny Adams, and I am here speaking today because I would like to have Black Lives Matter on our school
Excuse me,
shooting
Ms. Adams,
shirt.
could you hold it a little bit closer, I'm having.
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
right. Hi, my name is Destiny Adams, and I'm here speaking today because I would like to have Black Lives
See, I
Matter.
cannot hear that person at all. It's all mumbles. I don't hear anything they're
Oh,
saying.
Mr. General.
I didn't know where that was
Can't
coming
hear
from.
me? Oh, okay. Okay. Hi, my
Yes.
name is Destiny Adams, and I'm here speaking today because I would like to have Black Lives Matter on our school shooting shirt. This movement means so much to me personally as a Black woman in America. As we all should know, the Black community is not treated equally in this country. From our country's origin, the Black population has been
Say in all
silenced and pushed
sincerity,
aside.
if they would use Alex's microphone, whenever he speaks, I can hear him crystal clear. Whoever is speaking to you now, I don't understand the word you're saying.
That's Mr. Monahan.
Alex, Mike, whenever he speaks, is very clear.
Here, you want to take mine? Yes. Destiny, you want to get this and try this?
Chris, that was Mr. General?
Mr. Monahan.
Oh, that was Mr. Monahan, okay. I was gonna say, it didn't sound like
Testing. Okay, can everybody hear me?
We can, just, I guess they're the ones, we can hear it perfect.
Okay. Hi, my name is Destiny Adams, and I'm here speaking today because I would like to have Black Lives Matter on our school shooting shirt. This movement means so much to me personally as a Black woman in America. As we all should know, the Black community is not treated equally in this country. From our country's origin, the Black population has been silenced and pushed aside. I refuse to be silenced because I believe awareness should be brought to this movement. This does not mean I value any person over another, but I'm standing for a change that will embrace equality for every race. To me, Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with the police. I have nothing against the police. It is just that all lives cannot and will not matter until Black lives do. So that we can have a country where every life is treated the same with love and respect. I love the game of basketball, so being able to wear this saying on my shirt would make me feel like I am starting to make the change that needs to happen in America. I feel for this movement so deeply and think it should be respected by all. I do understand that people do not have the same views as me, which I am learning to grow and understand. This is why those who don't feel comfortable wearing it can feel free to put an alternate word. But my personal opinions will not be swayed for those who feel deterred from putting this saying on their shirt. I don't want any other phrase other than Black Lives Matter on the back of my shirt. I don't want another word to replace the true meaning because some people don't feel comfortable with the movement. I'm pretty well known in the basketball world, and plenty of little girls look up to me. If they see me in this shooting shirt on social media or in the gym with the saying on the back, it will teach them to stand up for what's right and always let their voices be heard. This is what I want to do. I want to make a change and help bring awareness to the struggles of the Black community. Finally, I would like to leave you with this example so you understand my heart. If I were supporting Poor Lives Matter and were speaking to you about that, it does not mean I don't care about or value or appreciate rich or middle class lives. It just means that poor lives are just as important and need the same support as all other lives. This is an issue that I need to bring awareness to. I do not feel type of way towards any other race. I love everyone, but Black lives are not treated right in this country, so I'm here to start making a change. Good evening. There is like a humming of some sort on this microphone. Should I stand somewhere different or? Okay. So my name's Lisa Adams. I'm Destiny's mom, and I'm an attorney here in Lakehurst. First and foremost, I just really wanted to express how proud I am of Destiny. It really takes a special individual for her to stand up here for what she's passionate about, what she believes in, and that's exactly what she's doing tonight at the mere age of 17. Her future is limitless, and the impact that she will have on others in her lifetime will be extraordinary. This for sure is what I call a proud mom moment, and I wanted her to hear me say that publicly. There should be absolutely zero dispute that Black individuals in this country are not treated fairly, are not treated equally. This has been an issue for generations, however, specifically made clear in all the instances that occurred just last year, resulting in the visible emergence of the Black Lives Matter social movement. Those words to Destiny are incredibly important, as she firmly believes, as we all should, that Black lives matter, and it is her desire to bring awareness to that plain fact. It is as simple as that. She does not support anti-police beliefs. She does not promote violence. She does not support vandalism or looting. She merely wants to bring awareness to others that Black lives matter and that a change is needed in this country in the way that Black individuals are treated. Basketball is her pulpit. She is the #2 player in the state. She is ranked the 20th best player in the country. She's headed to play Power 5 basketball at the University of North Carolina. She is very well known in this community, well known throughout the state, and well known in the country. She has put Manchester Township on the map in the basketball world. She has fans, she has followers, she is an influencer, she is an example. She wants to educate. She wants individuals to hear her supporting this movement. She wants to be asked about the words on the back of her shirt by reporters after the game, so she can open up that forum and publicly express her support of such movement and make a change someone's heart. She is passionate about basketball, and she is passionate about this. She wants them to go hand in hand. Some say this might start a precedent. Well, I have lived here for 20 plus years. Dennis has lived here for 40 plus years, and neither of us can recall a time reading about, hearing about, or even witnessing a high school athlete petitioning the Board of Education for approval to allow them to support a social movement. This would not be a reason to say no, as this board has the ability to handle each request separately and individually. Some say that since this will be on a shirt with the Manchester logo, that allowing her to have Black Lives Matter on her shooting shirt would suggest that Manchester supports this movement. This would not be a reason to say no, as this board, this community, this school district, and especially the high school should absolutely support her and support this cause. It is my understanding that the coaching staff that's currently at the school do fully support her. Some say that it may look like that Manchester is supporting the negative connotation that can surround the words Black Lives Matter. However, that can easily be refuted, as an immediate newspaper article can be written about this, explaining what such words mean to her, and again, having nothing to do with the negative aspects of such words, nothing to do with anti-police, nothing to do with violence, etc. Again, allowing her to have a voice and to educate. Also, bringing awareness does not mean that a person values one group or one person over another. The awareness is for the greater good of everyone. Destiny is finding her voice. Her flame has been lit. I'm pleading that this board make the right decision and allow her request. I am begging you to not silence her. Do not extinguish her flame, as I know deep in my heart that this is just the beginning for her, just the beginning on her impact, just the beginning of her making a difference, and there would be nothing greater than her being able to say that Manchester Township was where it all started, and she is proud to be a Hawk. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm going to speak as a dad first. First of all, I'm very proud of Destiny to be able to have enough compassion and love for people in general, of all colors, of all races, to bring this up and make this an issue. So I'm very, very proud of her for doing that. Now, as the principal of a high school with students of all colors and of all races, I think as a principal, and I think this probably with any principal, any kid that walks through the building, you want them to feel loved, you want them to feel appreciated, you want them to feel worthy. And I think as for me, in this standpoint, supporting the student, supporting every student that walks through the doors is very important. Because love has to be at the foundation of everything that we do in education. This is what we want. We want kids to push us to be better, to think, how can we make our environment better, our society better, our schools better. And this is something that we want for all our students and all our kids, that there be a greater good and that we support the greater good for everyone. Now let me just step back as a parent. And I think it's important that Destiny wants people to know, because she has a lot of friends of different races and different colors. She has a lot of friends, and she wants them to know that she loves them all and supports them all. This is not about pitting one side against the other. We are a Christian family. And I've taught Destiny to love everyone. And that is at the core, and I think this is what is driving her. Whatever decision you make, Board, our family will respect you, will love you, there will be no malice, there will be no bad intentions, because everything we do is based on loving everyone. So, and I think that's very important, that our family wants to get across to you and to the Manchester community, because we love Manchester. I went here, she's going here. We love everything about this place, and we just want to make sure that the greater good goes forward for everyone. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Yeah, probably my microphone right there. My voice tends to be soft. It doesn't always carry. All right, one last call. Anyone else care to speak on this subject and or any other subject that they want to bring before the board? All right, seeing none, I'll respond. Destiny, it takes a lot of courage to do what you just did. When I was your age, I don't know that I could have done that. I really don't. And I really and truly believe when you say that you do not mean it to be divisive, and that you truly believe in your passion there. Mrs. Adams, Mr. Adams, God bless her. We do not want her flame to ever go out. It's only through correspondence and communication and drive and passion and speaking up that changes can be made. But we as the Board of Education are elected to represent the whole school. And our uniforms have to be uniform. That's the whole thing. So we're going to ask that the uniforms will have the school name and the student's name if they choose, and nothing else. All right? That's what we've discussed. That's what we feel it should be. And Destiny, please do not give up your passion. Please do not. That is not our intent whatsoever. And Mr. Adams, I appreciate the fact that you bring in the Christian family here. I also come from a Christian family, as you well know. We taught 2 doors down from each other for a number of years, right? I know you know where I come from, and I know where you come from. And change has to come. And our country is starting toward that. But this is a school function. It represents the whole school. When you come out on the court, you're representing the whole school. And we feel that it needs to have the school name and the student's name only at this point. All right. Any other discussion? All right, entertain a motion to close our meeting. All in favor? Okay. Thank you very much.